What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hybrids Club Live. Here to get some breaking news and top stories. We're going to get right into it. Austin Metcalf and the Karmelo Anthony case seems to have picked up some steam recently as the judge attached to it has been removed. Some of the biggest news coming out of the story are the backgrounds of the two teens. One being Karmelo Anthony. There was like an alleged text message that would be released, giving people some concerns. But when it comes down to Austin Metcalf's background, there was an extensive bullying record as well as things involving the KKK that has now been made to light.
In this motion for a new trial, the background reports are being released, and the defense is going first, releasing 20 pages now of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Karmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
I mean, when was it going to stop? Suspended 7 years in a row?
Yeah.
Bullying constantly. Teachers calling teachers names, hitting young women, little girls.
Yeah.
I mean,
your reaction, Bevan, when you hear this rap sheet, ideally that has now been released, what's your initial reaction, as well as does this change kind of where you see the sentencing of 35 years that Karmelo was to receive over this incident?
Well, my opinion is he should not have gotten 35 years in the first place, period. Okay. Just based on the case itself. This is outside of what I just learned just now. Based on the case itself, I still didn't think he deserved all that time. I don't even think he deserved a lot of time based on the case. Now, with all of this documented, because there were students and kids saying that he was a bully on TikTok and on social media. They already said that Austin Metcalf was a bully. Okay. Now we have the documentation to back it. 7 years of suspension back to back. That is crazy. Yeah. All it does is kind of confirm what Karmelo felt in the incident that he was in. Yeah. He was dealing with a bully who doesn't know when to stop, who already threatens to kill people. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. He was threatening to kill somebody just because somebody was talking crap during a football game, which is pretty normal. So my reaction is, I already didn't think he deserved 35 years. Yeah. Now I absolutely don't think that he deserved 35 years, not even close, not even jail time, maybe probation. And this is how I feel about it, even if it wasn't a young black boy. It doesn't matter if it was a Karmelo Anthony or a young white girl, a white boy, teenager. with his documented history of abuse and harm and bullying, I think that any kid the same size as Karmelo would have probably felt the same way
Yeah.
and probably would have done the same
I
exact
was
thing.
going to say that, hearing those things, those records come up in this past, where were the people around him? Of course, I want to talk about his parents, but where was the school around him or the school system to get him to a point where, hey, man, we really need to get you on the right path because this is happening over and over again. So that's my first thought. Another thought was I wasn't quite shocked a little bit. I was shocked with the KKK thing because as a kid, why is that even on your spirit? Why is that even on your mind?
Yeah.
But more so of like the bullying, that's adolescent stuff. But the fact is that, this really kind of painted a clearer picture of what was maybe said in that tent during that fatal day in regards of Karmelo ending up stabbing this young man. He did it one time, but he would end up losing his life over this. So for me to kind of hear this is like, dang, like what was going on? Like at what point was it going to stop? And I think you and I had talked about this off the camera a little bit of like, sometimes the universe will match the energy that you put out there. This particular updates that we're getting is because they're currently in a hearing for a retrial. Part of this is that the judge that they did have, I believe Judge Roach, he has been removed from it. Have we found out why he exactly was removed, Bevan?
Yes. So based on ABC, already here, in the defense motion seeking to recuse Judge John Roach from the post-trial proceedings, Anthony's attorneys questioned both the judge's impartiality in the case and his courtroom restrictions ahead of the high-profile trial. Roach imposed a gag order in the case and barred any electronics from the courtroom during the proceedings due to the attention the case has garnered. The motion cited what is called problematic comments Roach made during an interview following the verdict, in which it said the judge endorsed the jury's guilty verdict and defended his courtroom restrictions. It also pointed to a public letter Roach released following the trial in which he stated that those who worked on the case contributed to ensuring the process was conducted fairly. So those are the reasons.
Yeah, do you agree, with that? Because ideally, you're not supposed to be biased in any capacity, especially as a judge. We actually had Judge Carlos Moore, who got banned in Mississippi because he put out his own thoughts about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. So to hear that this judge has got removed, what are your thoughts about that? And do you think that it was like the right thing to do?
Yes, I think that there was a lot of, on top of the judge being removed, I agree with. There's a lot of things that were mishandled in this case, as we're seeing right now. We shouldn't be finding out all of this information after this young man has gotten 35 years, which I think is ridiculous.
Right.
So I do think that this is a step in the right direction. I wish it would have happened the right way in the beginning, but I guess he wouldn't have made those comments until after the guilty verdict anyways. But I'm happy that that happened so we can get somebody who's non-biased. Or at least...
Well, at least they're going to know that people are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that based off a lot of people's reactions that we'll probably end up playing here, a lot of people really saw this as a big victory. I've seen people running at the courthouse, shouting, clapping, because I think, if anything, it validates that there are injustices that are happening. Sometimes the system will say, they'll gaslight you. It's not. Everything is being fair. You look at what's going on in Mississippi. I'm sure as this case goes along in terms of Nolan Wells, things like this will pop up. I'm very certain that will probably happen, where months later you find out, oh, damn, they were doing something kind of shady.
We could get this win and nothing happens at all. So, but I do think that the system failed Karmelo just based on what Austin was, I think he was enabled. A lot of his bad behavior was enabled.
Yeah.
Because to get suspended 7 years in a row, to be arrested in elementary school, to be vandalizing and putting KKK, kill all N-words on buildings, to call teachers' names, all these different things. That boy should have been in some type of boot camp.
Yeah. I would definitely say, you said enabled, I definitely would say instilled to a degree. I saw his father's interview, which at the end of the day, this is still disheartening. I've always said this on record. No one really won here. No one won. A young man is facing 35 years, as well as another man lost his life. But when I saw his father's interview, he was definitely a bit unhinged. You could tell, one, he's probably grieving, so that's going to incite certain things, emotions out of him. But at the same time, it did seem like his characteristics was a little bit like, I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to play by my own rules. And I just wondered what was going on at their house. Was he properly letting his sons know this is the right way to do it? Were they taught to go high? What is it like when they go low, you go high? Yeah. Those type of things. It doesn't seem like that was necessarily something that was brought to your attention. But as well as the fact that you're a teen or in school and you're pushing KKK rhetoric, like, man, go watch some cartoons or something.
You know what I'm saying? And people
what are we doing? So
people say they're kids, they're teenagers, but these teenagers turn into adults that go and do worse damage.
I got you.
Adults, you know what I'm saying? So
I was just saying to the point of,
it's just,
why the heck was that even on your mental at that age?
Yeah, it's definitely parents. Just based off of, what you were saying, the unhinged, I think that's why I said enabled. I think that instill and enable go hand in hand. Yeah. He does something bad. He doesn't get the proper punishment. All he gets is a suspension. And who knows what type of punishment he was getting at the house. He might not have been getting any, and that's why he felt like his behavior was okay. And we saw that he was getting all these suspensions and all these different things, but he was still playing sports. How?